Happy Wednesday, everyone. We got a cool workout for you today. A little longer, big list down that side of the board. Almost didn't fit. But before we get to that, let's talk about the warm-up. Depending on how much time you have today, will depend on how much you need to warm up for this work set. Plus, that first little bit of cardio is going to do a lot of warming up for you. So play around with the warm-up. If you need a long one, take one. If you're like, press for time today, hit this up a little bit on the left and then move right into that first run of the work set with cardio piece. It'll do the job. Trust me on that one. In terms of the work set, what we got for you guys? Warm-up. Inchworm to plank lean for 2, 3 to 5 reps. Into a quad plank, 3 to 10 seconds. Arch hold for 10 to 20 seconds. Hollow hold, 10 to 20 seconds. And then 2 to 3 rounds of work. From there, we'll move down into this bottom piece. Again, 3 to 5 rounds. We'll do 1 squat, 1 back lunge, 1 lunge, and then 3 to 5 times. So nice little complex, chance to work on some balance, some hybrid movement. Cool little thing there, little sequence, kind of gets you moving well. Dumbbell pause dip, 1 to 3 seconds into a dumbbell push press, 3 to 5 reps, either per side or with 2 dumbbells, it's up to you. Tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds and a run of 100 meters to 200 meters. You're gonna take that down 3 to 5 rounds, get yourself ready to go, and then move yourself into this work set. The work set, I'm gonna break it down for you as is, and then again, we'll have some fun to play with this with some options later on. You're gonna start with a 1,600 meter run, or a 1,200 meter run. Then you're gonna move into 3 rounds of work of this complex right here. 5 V-ups, dumbbell push press for 10, if you're doing single arm, 5 per side, and then 15 air squats, no load. Once you've done 3 rounds, you'll go back out for another run, 800 meters or 600 meters. Then you'll do 2 rounds of the same work set. So you'll have your V-up, which I have toe to bar there, but V-up, if you have a bar at home, you can do toe to bar. All right, for 5, dumbbell push press for 10, squat for 15, 2 times through, and then you're gonna move into your run, 400 meters or 200 meters, and then you do 1 more round, toe to bar or V-up for 5, into your dumbbell push press for 10, and then your squat for 15. Then you're done. So run, 3 rounds of work, run, 2 rounds of work, run, 1 round of work. The set of work always stays the same, it's just the rounds will go down. I do apologize for putting V up here and toe to bar here. Technically V up at home if you don't have a bar. If you do have a pull-up bar, rock some toe to bar, some tuck-ups. Those will be on the workout description. I just had a little brain fart today when I was writing those down, all right? But anyway, let's get you warmed up, ready for action to take on this lovely midweek extravaganza. All right, guys, let's warm you guys up a little bit. Let's take those feet underneath those hips. Let's take those arms big and tall up overhead. Let's give ourselves a little side bend, We'll come back up, take it to the side. And come back up, and shrug those shoulders straight up. Come back down and get some gentle circles. Just waking up those shoulders overhead for a little while. Make sure everything feels good. And again, we'll go the other way. And then from here, you take those arms back overhead, little shrug. Come back down with those hands, or step those feet nice and wide. You're gonna slowly wake up with a few wide stance. Good morning. So squeeze the glutes, pull the hips back when you feel that first sensation in the hamstrings. Stand tall. Good. Squeeze, pull back, and then stand tall. Good. Pull back. Feel that first sensation and ease out of it. From here, we're going to shimmy our feet a little closer, turning one toe to the side, one toe on the angle. Hand to the thigh, hand to the sky. Pull the hip back, trace down that shin. We'll come back up. Okay, we'll pull the hip back, trace that shin. Come back up. We're going to pull the hip back. And come up nice and tall. Turn the toes, a little high five. Turn those toes, make sure our feet are proper distance. Pull the hip. Come back up. Good. And pull the hip. Come back up. And one more time, pull that hip back. Trace the shin. And back up. Turn those toes straight ahead. Little high five. Good. Come back down with those hands. We'll bring the feet a little closer again. Left heel in front of the right toe. Hands to the front. Squeeze the glutes. Pull straight back. Soft knee. And then rotate towards that straight leg in the front. Come back up. Squeeze. Pull back. Rotate. Stand back up. One more time. Squeeze. Pull back. Rotate. And stand up. Switch our feet out. Heel in front of the toe. Squeeze the glutes. Pull back. Rotate. And up. One more time. Squeeze. Pull back. Rotate. And up. One last time. Pull back. And rotate. Stand tall. Feet come back under. Big tall stretch. Let's test those hamstrings out. Pull the hips back. Touch those toes. And walk up the shins. Come back down. Touch the floor of the toes. And we'll roll back up. Big stretch. Come back down with the hands. Let's get her going. All right. If you'd like to do some more gentle warm up for your body, please just pause the video. Take your time. Work through some lizards with some rotation maybe, a little bit of hip and split, but take that time to do that nice and slow. We're going to move into the next phase, which is going to start off with an inchworm plank lean. So I'm going to face the front for this one, so you guys can see my square body when I do my lean. So I start off, if you'd like, with a nice little overhead reach. I'm going to hinge, trying to keep my legs as straight as I can. I'll walk my hands out into my plank. My hands will be under my shoulders. I'm going to squeeze the glutes, tuck the ribs and hips, press through the shoulders, lean, come back through, lean, come back to center, and then walk my hands back in. Roll back up. I can throw in that nice tall reach if I like, or I can just leave my hands down to the side. But again, another rep. I'm going to go to the side this time. So again, we hinge, keeping the legs as straight as we can. If you need to soften them, you can. Walk your hands out into your good plank. Squeeze and tuck the pelvis, press through the shoulders. Lean to the left, staying square. Lean to the left, or the right, sorry. Come back to center. Walk your hands back in. Stand tall. Take the arms overhead if you like. And come back down. So a couple things. Nice square torso. Initiate the lean through the shoulders, not the hips. All right. Let the whole body shift as one piece. Okay. From there, we're going to move into our table, into our quad plank. So I'm going to come down into our tabletop position. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes under. I'm going to pull the ribs and hips, press through the shoulders. I'm going to lift the knees about 1 inch off the floor, pulling everything into the center line, pressing through the shoulders, holding that whole time, 10 seconds, and then I'll lower down, disengage, and then I'll re-engage, so I get to practice that position again. So I pull the ribs and hips together, press through the shoulders, grip the floor, lift the knees about 1 inch, and work on holding that position. Breathing, tension, all that good stuff. We want to focus on gripping through the floor so our wrists aren't taking the brunt of that, and we're activating through the arm and supporting the whole structure through the wrist all the way up to the shoulder. After that, we're going to lay on our stomach. We're going to move into our arch up, or arch hold, I should say. So my hands come down, armpits towards the floor, toes together. I can either reach, lift with both, keeping those legs super straight, or I can extend with one side, hold for half the time, and then switch to the other side, hold for half the time, and go from there. Okay? So again, thinking about lengthening, trying to reach my fingers across the room, reach my toes to the other side, straightening out my legs, all the while lifting and extending. Don't think necessarily just up, think length and lift. Nice and long. Anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds with that, with a nice isometric hold. If you can only go 10, that's okay. 12, who knows? Just take it where you can maintain position. Finally, our last piece of this puzzle on this first part of warm-up is our hollow. So we work the other side. We go down our back, hands overhead. I'm going to press my low back into the floor, which is going to lift my shoulders and my toes. I'm squeezing, I'm reaching, I'm staying active. can't hold both, I can work on a single leg, pressing that low back down to the floor, getting that little lift. Half the time, and I switch to the other side. Or if I need a little bit more foundation, I'll lift that foot up so it's flat. And then I will press my low back, bring my ribs and hips together, lift up a little bit, hold that position tight, and then lower down. So lots of options there, you guys. Do with what you will. It's going to allow you to press that low back down into the ground. That's our primary focus, okay? Also, the other piece about the neck, we want to make sure that we're lifting through the chest and the shoulders, not trying to lift through our head or our neck. Our head moves with our torso. Quick little recap for you guys on that first piece. Inchworm to plank lean, 2 plank leans. All right, you'll take that sequence down 3 to 5 into our quad plank for 3, 10-second holds, arch hold 10 to 20 seconds, and our hollow hold anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds as well. 2 to 3 rounds of that just to warm up the core, then we'll move into this next phase to start getting ourselves primed up and ready for action. So our first little piece here is a little combo exercise. So what I'm going to do is set myself up in my squat stance, and I'm going to execute 1 good air squat. Then I'm going to step back into my back lunge, stand tall, back lunge, step back into my squat. That would be 1 rep. Squat down. I can do a forward lunge if you'd like. Forward lunge, back into my squat stance. That would be 2. And I would continue until I've done 3 to 5. The key here is trying to step from our squat stance and then step back into our squat stance so we don't have to adjust too much in terms of our feet. If we need to fix our stance, please fix our stance before we squat, but try and bring our feet back to be accurate in that squat stance. All right, nice chance just to move, play around with a little bit of rhythm work. You can play around, back lunge, front lunge, mix it up, whatever you want to play. From there, we move into our dumbbell work. So I'm going to grab my dumbbell, hold it tall, feet are under my hips. I'm going to clean it up. So I get in my clean position, my front rack, the back of the dumbbells resting on my shoulder. I'm going to work a pause dip. So I'm going to dip straight down, knees go slightly out, and I'm going to hold this for 3 seconds. From there, I'm going to stand tall, and then I'm going to move into my push press. So I'm going to do the same dip, no pause, and press overhead. So I dip, press, come back down, set, dip, press, come back down, set, dip, press. So again, with that dip, I'm going to show you from the side on the other side. So with the dip, we want to focus on nice and set, feet are just under the hips or outside. I'm going to dip straight down, so my shoulders are over my hips, my knees go slightly out, and my feet are flat. That's what we're trying to hit every single time. When I stand, I move into my actual push press, hit the same dip, come back down, and with that dip, we're trying to use those legs and hips to press that dumbbell overhead, using the legs about an 80-20 split, so 80% leg and hip to arm ratio, right? So think legs opposed to pressing with the arm. The arm just finishes the momentum. Try and use those legs for most of that press. From there, we put the dumbbell down. We move into our tuck hollow with extension. So again, heating up that core and those hamstrings a bit. So I'm going to lay down, and I would like to give myself a nice big in-breath. So I'll inhale long and tall, and then I'm going to exhale, pull my ribs, hips together, pull into that compression, knees and shoulders together. Once I've established this tuck, I'm going to try and extend those legs as best I can, and then pull my heels back in, keeping the knees close to the shoulders. And you'll notice I'm not going super fast, because my primary focus is that extension, right? If I rush that, I'm not going to fully extend those legs or get as far as I probably could if I was taking my time to really work on that engagement and that extension through the knee, okay? Take your time with that. It's not about reps. It's about playing with that compression and getting those legs as straight as you can. You have 20 seconds to get as many reps as you can. play, go, move slow, and see how it feels. After that, we have a little bit of run or a cardio piece of choice. You'll hit that work set for 3 to 5 rounds. Quick little recap, we have our squat to lunge lunge. So we have our squat lunge lunge combo, 3 to 5 reps. Dumbbell pause dip, 1 rep with a 3-second hold in the bottom. Then 3 to 5 push press. And then you'll repeat on the opposite side. If you have 2 dumbbells, you'll just do it once through. Tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds. Into your run or cardio of choice. Get yourself fired up, get yourself ready, pause video, take that down. We're gonna go through the workout and take it down today, all right? First things first on that work set is a 1,600 or 1,200 meter run. So you're gonna run or do the equivalent cardio of your choice. From there, we have 3 exercises today. We have our V-up, our dumbbell push press, which we just talked about, and our air squat. So our V-up has lots of options. We can play here. So do what's going to make you feel best in this work set. And I'm okay too if you want to mix and match your V-up options each set. So say we do all 3 sets V-ups, the next one for 2 we do toe touches, and then the last one we do pike sit-ups. Totally fine. Try and keep each chunk though the same if you want to switch. Or just pick one and rock it as best you can. Okay? So let's talk about the options. First off, the V-up. We're nice and long. We snap up and touch our toes. We come back down and up. If we can't quite get both, we do a single. Try and touch that toe. Alternating back and forth. If we need a little bit more assistance, we can bring a foot up, work with one. Or if you're like, whoo, V-up's no good for me, but I can do a tuck up because I can get my chest up. We bring our legs straight. We bring our chest and thighs together, work that tuck, extend, tuck, extend. We can do a single leg tuck. Half reps on one side, half reps on the other side. But if that hinge is a little bit too much, we can dial back a little bit and work on our hollow up. So we get that little pulse, little back press, little back press, little back press. Or we can do a signal, alternating, hollow up, working on getting that nice tight compression, okay? So there's a first wave of options. Our last 2 options, all right, one is the toe touch, which is not a fast movement, but there's only 5, so that's okay. So the toe touch is not a fast movement. We start here. I'm gonna bring my legs up, straight up in the air. My hands are going to come pointing towards the toes, and my shoulders are still on the floor. From here, I'm going to crunch my ribs and hips together, and try and tie my shoelaces, and then come all the way back to my shoulders. Try and touch my shoelaces, all the way back. And you'll notice the legs aren't moving. All right, I'm not trying to bring my legs closer to my hands. I'm just trying to focus on the upper portion of that crunch. Last but not least is the pike sit-up. Personal favorite of mine because it gives you a hamstring stretch at the same time. We start extended, we sit up, trace the legs, come back down. Trace the legs, come back down. Try to find our end range on every sit-up. So try not to go full on if those hamstrings are tight, all right away. Just ease in. You might find by the end of the workout, you're getting further than you did at the beginning, okay? So those are your V-up options. From there, we have our dumbbell push press. Again, if you have a single dumbbell like I do, we'll do 5 on one side, 5 on the other. We've already seen the push press in our warm-up. I'm just gonna turn to the side and show you a couple or 5 reps with a rebound. So I clean it up, I get set, I work that good push press, and as I come down, absorb into the dip and drive it back. The dip is the same. The extension is the same. The only difference is I'm not pausing in between reps. I'm absorbing that dumbbell in and then giving back the energy to drive overhead. Okay? Chances are, if as you get fatigued, that is going to cause you to kind of come forward every once in a while. If you feel that, slow it down a little bit, maybe take a moment at the top, So you can focus on staying mid-foot and then answering that drive nice and solid. Okay, take your time, change and vary your speeds as you need to, depending on your balance. Last but not least, the air squat. The air squat today, beautiful exercise. Nice and steady with these. Don't worry about trying to blast them out super quick. We set up our feet, squat stance, so just outside the shoulders or just outside the hips. It can be a little narrower depending on your mobility. I take my hips back and down, knees go slightly out so they track the toe, and I'm trying to stay as upright as I can. All right? Nice and smooth. I stay active and stand all the way up for each squat. If you'd like to, you can actually target, set up a target below, so you hit that target in depth every time. But remember, everyone's depth is different. I want you to work on your edge, focusing on your position, and get the best squat you can. Okay? Once you've done 3 rounds of that, you'll move into the next run, which is an 800-meter run, or 6. Then you'll do 2 rounds of whatever work set you just chose. Then you'll do another run, 400 to 200 meters. Then do one last chunk of that work set, one last round, and then you're done. All right? Have some fun with this one, you guys. It's a little longer, a little more cardio piece in there with some intermissions, but enjoy. Let me know how it goes, what you mix and match for the V-ups, all right, what your choice is there and how you took it down. Big thumbs up, you guys. Happy Wednesday, midweek extravaganza. Let me know how it goes, and we'll talk to you really soon.